Well, thanks for tuning in again. I wanted to just share some thoughts, and I like to get these out when things are happening. So it's almost 7 o'clock in the evening. It's been a relatively long day for me, and there were a lot of learning points today, a lot of opportunity for me to choose frustration or to choose to learn right from the start of the day. And so I just want to go through that a little bit because I recognize the blessing of a positive mindset from days like today. And of course, I chose today to see everything as a learning opportunity. And this is what I want to share. This is what I'm hoping to get across to people. You can choose happiness in your life no matter what is going on. Okay, I'm not going to get into all the financial stress and worries and business and things that I have going on right now, but they're there. Didn't go to sleep as fast as I wanted to last night. My back has been aching and hurting a little bit because I tweaked it just a little bit. Pulled some muscle back here on the back of my ribs where I didn't even think I had muscles, right? Certainly not anything big. But I bent over at work and turned weird and grabbed something to pick up, and it was just right that, oh my gosh, it was just searing pain, like something had cramped up or pinched back there, and I could hardly breathe. Every breath was this sharp pain, and I just laughed through it, like, what am I gonna do? But it hurt, and it hurt like that for about an hour. Half an hour real good, and I finished cleaning up that job, kind of breathing like that every time and hurting with it every breath. And fortunately had somebody working with me that day, and so I had him drive to the next appointment. And so he was willing to drive me or drive the van, and we went to the next appointment. And I pushed through it in pain, of course, and after a few hours got home that night, still just hurting. I was able to breathe now without sincere pain, but there were a lot of movements that were hard. Turning over in bed was almost impossible. It was impossible without pain. And so, that was kind of rough, and I slept mostly on my back and groaned a little bit every time I turned over. And then yesterday, got up, did some things around the house, my day off, and I worked on the computer and did as much as I could do and tried to take it easy and not do too much, but it got a little better. And by last night, it was still there, still pinching. Laying in bed at the end of the night was nice on my back, but as soon as I tried to turn over, there's a pinch there again. And so a lot of deep breathing, and took my time going to sleep and let my thoughts, go and identified, there's a thought, there's a worry, there's a thought, and just be the observer for a bit as I was going to sleep. And then after I did that for a bit and allowed the mind to express all of the worries and thoughts and feelings that were there, then I chose to meditate myself to sleep, and went to sleep. And woke up about 6:30 in the morning. Was supposed to be to my first job between 8 and 9. I ended up I'm not leaving the house until after 7:30 probably. Laid in bed a while, got up, got my cold shower, got my lunch together. Thank you, Julia, for making my lunch, and headed into work. Traffic was slow, as I expected, because I left late, and that's the time that it's going to be slow. And so I put something positive on to listen to, and got to work, I don't know, probably it was after 8. And the van that I normally use, that is pristine and clean and ready to go and has all my stuff where I expect it, was gone. Somebody else took that van today. And so I looked at the two that were there, and neither one of them had a flat mop, and this one had a problem with the wand. Didn't have a cover on the wand tip, and didn't have this, didn't have that seat cover that I had purchased and told somebody how to put it on weeks ago. Hadn't been done, you know, and it was sitting there with crumbs and leaves in it, and halfway on, halfway off. And great opportunity for me to just be frustrated as hell. You know, I could have just been mad and hopping about it, and I did feel the frustration a little bit, but what am I going to do? Right? They were both low on chemicals, so I chose a van, and I cut the old seat cover off, and I put the new one on, and then I looked at all the equipment, made sure I had what I needed, and told the boss about the wand and put the other wand in this van, and filled up my my chemicals, and checked everything, looked at the outside or the back of the van to see what it was that I was going to need, you know, made sure I had the filter, the inline filter, and all right, it looks good. I think I've got everything. I filled up my urine removal chemicals, which is important, you know, because that's a lot of what we do each day. And headed out. And of course, I looked at the gas, and the gas was close to half a tank, and we use a lot of gas in this job each day. And so I thought, well, I better go get gas. So I'll I'll add that to my trip, and we'll go get gas. And I look in the visor up here in the van where the card's supposed to be. No card. All right, well, that's fantastic. Add that to the day. And so no card, you know, and I'm gonna have to be reimbursed and use my own money to get gas in the work vehicle. And then traffic slows down to a crawl. I'm going to Salt Lake, and it's 10 miles an hour, you know, and and it's going to be that way for several miles. All right, I'm enjoying listening to some stuff, and I sent some messages to the boss and said, you know, this, and this. We need to talk about it. What can we do to help everybody be responsible and take care of their equipment and their vans? And he called me, and we talked for a lot of the way as I was driving. Well, with that distraction of talking to him, I wasn't paying attention to the map telling me where to go, and missed my exit. So I had to get off on the next exit and follow that around and go a different route to get to where I was going. But no big deal. Still got there about the time that I had planned because I told her I was going to be getting gas, you know, and I showed up, oh gosh, probably an hour or so, hour and a half later than desired for both of us. But she was patient with me, and I smiled when I got there. And my response to her was, thank you for your patience. I've had a great morning with lots of learning opportunities and lots of time to grow. And we both laughed a little bit, and I went through the house and saw what needed to be done and went to work. Gave her the star service. Performed a miracle according to her, and got some nail polish, several spots of nail polish out, scattered all over a bedroom, and that cleaned up really nice. Another mystery stain out, and finished up there, filled up the water, and headed to the next job. And that turned out to be a pretty big job for me. So, but I got it done. You know, that was my day. When I finally got back to the shop here about 6:45 p.m., my legs started cramping, which happens a lot on a long day. And I'd already taken all of my magnesium, my turmeric, and, you know, things. I took all of my pills for the day to supplement and help with that, but still feeling a little crampy. So I got out and stretched and took some electrolytes and brought the van in and opened it up, got everything set the way it needs to be for the end of the day. It could have been a lot worse. I could have chosen to be just pissed off and angry. I could have let that emotion take hold of me. And there were times when when I noticed the card wasn't there, one more thing, when I felt a little tightness in the back. And when I let that happen, it locks up, goes right up my neck, and I end up with a migraine like I did this last weekend when I pushed and should have taken time to meditate and rest. And I just said, no, we're not going to do that. Let's have some peace. And I just felt those muscles relax, and my shoulders drop, and the muscles in my back just relax. And it was such a testament that you can do this. I can do this. If I can do it, you can do it. Just with a thought, just with a decision to not entertain the negative thought, but to choose positive, to see it as a learning opportunity. It's something that happened for me to allow me to grow, rather than being angry at my coworkers for not being responsible, for being sloppy, for forgetting things, for whatever, right? And yeah, there needs to be some responsibility there. Yeah, we need to find a way to get everybody else to step up. That would be nice, right? But I don't have to let that affect me. I don't have to let that affect my body. I don't have to internalize that and become angry. And angry doesn't fix the problem. If we want to teach the responsibility to those other technicians, anger isn't going to do it. And so that's the path I chose today. And here I am, late evening. I'm not exhausted. I've worked hard. There's part of me that says I should be. And I might be kind of tired when I get home, but I took a few minutes here and meditated before I started this. And I'll take a few minutes before I go into the house and meditate. And I'll be meditating as I drive and thinking positive thoughts and listening to positive things, because that is my choice. So that's what I wanted to share today. I hope that you can learn how to do that, that you can make that decision, to make that choice to just be happy, because it's a choice. It doesn't matter what's going on outside. If Viktor Frankl can do it in a concentration camp, we can do it in our blessed lives. Thank you. Share it with somebody who needs to hear it. Have a great day.